The horrific beating of Tyre Nichols sparking a big debate over police reform. The whole nation shocked by the disturbing body cam footage, showing officers repeatedly pummeling Nichols, who died of those injuries just days later. A sixth Memphis police officer involved in the initial traffic stop has been suspended. That's in addition to the 5 ex-officers who face murder charges. Democrats demanding action, but already dismissing bipartisan efforts at solving the problem.
The police reform package that Senator Booker was working on with Senator Scott, it had many elements in it that are important, banning chokeholds, dealing with no warrant searches, dealing with accreditation of police departments. It's necessary that we do all these things, but not sufficient.
And conservatives say any effort put forward can't rely on defunding the police.
We must stop vilifying the police. We must stop listening to the voices of despair, anger, and division. But none of the leaders who are advocating defund the police live in situations where there is high crime.
But the media egging Democrats on to cut funding to police departments.
This whole reform nonsense from Democrats is so tiring and so dishonest. You can't reform this stuff with body cameras or diversifying the police, as we just saw in Memphis. That doesn't solve the problem either. Now, Democrats, of course, want to run away from talk of abolishing the police or even defunding the police. That's way too radical, way too out there.
You don't think the Democrats are actually going to defund the police?
No, he's entitled to his opinion, but he's dead wrong. Look, I think a couple of things. I think that in fairness to the Senator Durbin, I do think what Senator Scott and Senator Booker were working on is a foundation. I think what we've seen here, and perhaps what some are asking for, is an approach like you have with our military. You know, some people are qualified and are able to serve in combat or in special forces. And these specialized units, I think, are to the equivalent. Nothing is like special forces in the military, but as you think about our police forces and how we employ and how we hire people and how we determine who should be in different units, we do this as we defend our country, and we should do this for these noble and heroic and courageous servants who are getting a bad rap. Number two, we need some training and protocol standards across the country. I've seen some on our network say that that's akin to federalizing our police forces, but I don't think so. I think there's a way to strike that balance. In this instance here, we'll find more about the Scorpion unit here. I know they have deactivated it in Memphis, but you need these units and police forces all across the country to go after some of the most violent and some of the most awful things that are happening in communities. And oftentimes, there are communities where this young fellow, I don't know the young fellow I think we put up on MSNBC there, but I don't think he lives in those communities. And God bless him, he lives wherever he wants to live. But I think before we go talking about defunding something, you need to understand that police are essential to a functioning society.
Judge, what was your reaction to watching the video?
Speechless, stunned, angry. When I looked at it, I said, these people are evil. They are full of hate and violence. This man did nothing. We still don't know why they stopped him. There is no evidence, the police chief has said, that she's aware of why they stopped him, of this alleged reckless driving. We still don't know why they pulled him out of the car immediately. I mean, normally you stop someone, you ask him for a license and registration. We don't know whether or not they knew each other. Is there some prior relationship there? Why, once he was on the ground, did they need to beat him with a baton and pepper spray him and mace him and tase him? And then, sure, he ran away. I mean, I think he knew ultimately what was going on because he kept saying, I'm doing what you're telling me to do. Yeah. It is disgusting. And Washington can talk all they want about police reform. And look, I work with cops for 32 years. You know it like every day of my professional life. Cops that I know are not like this. These people are evil, and there's evil in every bunch of society. But the bill that Booker and Tim Scott were working on, the sticking point was qualified immunity. So should a police officer lose his house because someone sues him? And the issue of whether or not they're going to defund police departments if they don't meet all the standards of reforms. So understand that local police departments, which is the essence of law enforcement in this country, they get grants from Washington, just like I did. And if they're going to say, hey, you didn't meet, Jeanine, you didn't meet this criteria, therefore we're not giving you money, you're basically defunding me again. The government defunds. So, and by the way, one more thing. more police are going to be charged. 2 more sheriffs, 2
In
more
Memphis.
firemen in Memphis. 2 more firemen. Why were they standing around for 20 minutes before they did a darn thing? This isn't over yet. This is horrible. This isn't who cops are.
Greg Gutfeld?
Yeah, and I look at this, I think, boy, this seems like it was worse than George Floyd, except the response to it was muted, which is what people think is good now that we don't have arson, we don't have looting, we don't have sustained riots over weeks where dozens die. Yet this was worse. So what does that tell you about all of these things in the past? That the media amplified them based on race, because this is an example where a variable is controlled, and that is race. Both sides are black. So in this incident, if you remove that variable, what does the media do? Well, they realize they can't amplify this as a race thing, so it becomes a training thing, right? Well, what does this say about the past? What if all of those other ones were about training? And the only thing that threw you off that was because there was a white cop or 2 white cops, and the media made it about race, when in fact it could have been about training all along, something that we were saying on this show the entire time. We were talking about training, but it was always about race, systematic racism. Even people today are saying that it's systematic, it's still white people, because it's white people who did the training, as if blacks don't have the agency to do the right thing. You know, my favorite line, and I won't say who said this because it's just so pathetic. You know, could you imagine those guys doing that to a white guy? What does that say? That says that you're saying that those black men would be more likely to kill a black man than a white man. What does that even mean? And I'm sorry, you can find tapes of cops doing this to white people. You just don't see it amplified, right? And you didn't see this one amplified either. Nothing like the other ones. And that was because race was removed. And now it's about training, and we're all for training. We're definitely all for training. Training isn't about defunding the police, though. And we're going to have to start asking ourselves, like, what happens when we decide to do DIE in the police force? Speed that up. What happens then when you start changing requirements, lowering requirements? You might have more of that. Are you willing to accept that, knowing there will be less riots than if it were white cops? That's something you got to think about. Because there will be more actions if the training isn't up to speed, if they're not paid as well, if the qualified people are leaving the police force and replaced with people who are inexperienced. You're going to have that. Yeah. And then you're going to say, well, at least the after effect isn't riots because it's black on black.
But do you think that maybe there wasn't the riots or whatever because the officers were fired and charged? I mean, I think there's some differences here. I'm not. But there were some things here.
But I would say that, you know, if there was just 2 white guys in there, it would have been a different story. Yeah. And I'm not saying that it would just be portrayed differently in the media.
One of the things that you bring up is the retirement and the retention issue and the recruitment issue.
Yeah.
So there's a big problem on all of that we've been seeing that in major cities and small towns across America over the last several years. So what is the answer to that? Well, the only antidote to that is more money. So it's actually the opposite of defund the police, because if you want more money for different training, or if you want to figure out a way to keep those older officers there so that there might have been, you know, somebody who had several years of experience on the force rather than all the young guys all together at once, maybe this could have been avoided. I do think that we will see some more arrests and perhaps some additional calls for needs in that community, because one of the reasons that the Scorpion Group was created, and Harold could speak to this better than I can, is the level of violence in Memphis got to the point where the community was saying we need more protection. So they tried, and that was the wrong protection. I don't necessarily think that means you have to have federal legislation. Perhaps the federal legislation could be very good. I don't know if it's a panacea to actually stop this type of thing. Right?
Yeah, no, it's not going to impact this. And you know what? It's the training protocol within the local police department. And by the way, Minneapolis can also charge these guys because these cops have a duty to intervene if deadly force is unjustified is being used against an individual. And by the way, this department is down 500 cops.
Right.
Think about that.
That's why I think
that's why there's
it's
no
going to be a call for more money. and to fund them, because you're going to have that. And I'd just like to say, you covered the news live on primetime on Friday night, and I thought you did an incredible job, Jesse. Really, really top-notch work.
Thank you so much.
You were like the anti-Eagles.
That night I was.
Yeah.
And then I went back to being hated.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.